There's so much. The Lord has been putting things in my mind, and He's kind of starting to show me things about the order of these events that I have to study more. But backing up here just a little bit, the betrayer is identified. One thought that I had that I didn't comment on: Matthew 26, Mark 14. Now it's interesting because there's no Luke involved in this reading. I think there should be. So it's another thing that I'm going to, talk to my friend Scotty Bachhaus about incorporating in this section a passage from Luke. I can't remember where exactly it is now. I just read it too. It's here in the section under the institution of the Lord's Supper. See, here it is. It says, "And they began to inquire among themselves of them, of which of them I'm sorry, my thoughts are in my way. I'm not even looking at what I'm reading. Which of them it was that should do this thing." Okay, so that's that. Now here's the thought that I'm backing up to. When Jesus said, where does it start? Here. "And they were exceeding sorrowful, and began every one of them to say unto him, Lord, is it I?" All I wanted to point out in this video is that's the proper response that we should have when people come to us and they say, you've done something wrong, or I can't think of an example, but it says in the Bible, it says in Proverbs, "Rebuke a scorner and he will hate thee. Rebuke a wise man and he will love thee." And I think this shows the heart of the disciples, the ones who said, "Is it I?" when it wasn't them, but yet they had a sense of the fact that their heart could deceive them. And they didn't want to deceive themselves any further by saying, "No, it wasn't me." Now this is the proper response. "Lord, is it I?" Now Judas knew he was the guy. He said it too. After a little bit here, he says, "Master, is it I?" He knew it was himself. He had the bag when he said that. Jesus said, "Thou hast said." It makes you realize too how close Judas must have been to the Lord at the feast, where he could ask him such a thing as that, and Jesus could answer in such a way, and that they still didn't hear it. None of the guys heard it. Now this is interesting too, because here it says, they said, "Is it I?" And another said. It doesn't mention Judas, but another said in Mark 14. And then finally, in John, Jesus said, "It is to whom I shall give a sop when I have dipped it." You need to give the sop. Gave it to Judas Iscariot, the son of Simon. And then he says, after the sops, Satan entered into him. Then said Jesus unto him, "That thou doest, do quickly." Now no man at the table knew for what intent he spake this unto them. And this shows also the good heart of the disciples, where some of them thought because Judas had the bag that Jesus said unto him, "Buy those things that I have need of against the feast," or that he should give something to the poor. Because he had the bag. He had the guilt in his hands. And the disciples didn't think evil of him. They thought, "It's good." So it's just interesting to show the good heart of the disciples by this point in Jesus' ministry, just before he left them. The disciples, well, not totally, because look, coming up in the next reading, contention as to who is greatest. And then I do like the fact that with this passage here, that the John 13 passage follows that. Who shall ever shall be greatest among you, let him be your minister.